If you're a business owner and most of your time is going towards managing your team, you'll love this interview today and the insights that business coach Jayne Ramlakan shares. Your role as the business owner is not to manage the team. Your role is to manage the systems manage the team manage the customers take care of the business. We also talk about the difference between management and leadership. Let's take a listen. Jayne, tell me, why did you become a business coach?
I think one of the reasons why is I wanted to do something more purposeful. I wanted to find a role that I could give back. And being in corporate for so long, I realized that I could help one business owner, but I think by becoming a business coach, I could help many business owners. So that was my why.
And what were you doing before you joined Action Coach as a business coach?
I actually trained as an accountant back in South Africa, but I always loved business. And so I went back and joined the corporate, and I worked through different careers, being in operations, finance, and eventually the last 11 years, I was the CEO for a food manufacturer.
And so you get to speak with business owners every day. What do you find is the common challenge with those businesses?
I think a lot of the business owners that I speak to, they're using multiple hats. So, they're starting small. They don't have the direction often as to when they should employ more people, build systems or processes. So they're using many hats. They find there's not enough hours in the day, and they're just trying to make the best of their environment. Yeah.
What type of businesses do you generally work with?
I work with more medium-sized businesses, some small as well. Depends, where they are in the growth cycle. But generally, clients of mine have the aspiration to grow. They want to have a business that can work with or without them. And those are my dream clients.
What are some of the challenges business owners have with teams and letting go of their business?
Often that's the biggest challenge, isn't it? Is trying to let go and also trying to build a business that can work with or without you. But, it's about investing in the business. And, in Action Coach, we have this wonderful model that says, the business owner's role is to set the systems and processes that manages the team. The team takes care of the customers, and the customers take care of the business. So often it's the matter of trying to invest in what the systems and processes and giving the business some structure. So it means that you are not people managing. And that's where I think a lot of time goes for business owners.
So instead of, that's an interesting concept. So instead of people managing, you're managing as the business owner, the systems, and the systems manages the team. Walk me through that.
So what it means, instead of being, so when we talk about, if you have a system and process and you develop that, and if you have, for example, an SOP or standard operating procedures, no matter who is taking over the role, that person will follow the systems and processes. So, for example, if you've got McDonald's, McDonald's is run by 16 years old. And you ask the question, how can McDonald's operations be dependent on 16-year-olds? Because they have this amazing systems and processes. So where in the world you go, you have the same experience. So I think when businesses start to adapt that mindset, then it kind of frees them from managing the people, because the people are being managed by systems and processes. And it's very consistent as well.
Can you give me an example of that with a client you've worked with?
Absolutely. So I have a client that's basically was very much in the business. Her staff was always going to her, seeking advice. Her day was very distractive as well, because she was always answering questions. And one of the things we spoke about is try to set in scripts to start off with, building templates so they have a checklist. And she found that as the days went by, they were coming to her less, and it freed her more, gave her more time to actually start working on her business.
And so what type of processes did she put in place?
So she's in the beauty industry. So they have a checklist. So for example, if someone is going, say, for example, a facial, the first thing is you give 5 minutes was build rapport. Then you get the consent. So she put a very detailed step, and she actually gave time allocations as well. So they were not going over the treatment time. And then the end of it, we always had, what's the closing. And the closing was as well as, to, like, for example, it could be another product they sold or another treatment they sold. So it was a whole sales process, similar to what we have in Action Coach.
What is the difference really when you think about management versus leadership?
That's a really interesting question, because sometimes it kind of weaves in between. There's a very minute difference between a manager and a leader. I'll give you an example of what I think. I think a manager manages the systems and processes. I think a leader empowers people to deliver on the systems and processes. So I know in my role as a CEO, it had to do a lot of leadership, but we do need managers as well, because managers need to make sure everything is running smoothly. I think as a business owner, it's more a leadership role rather than a manager.
As a leader, what are some of the things that you're doing to empower your team, create better culture?
Absolutely. So it's more about giving my team the flexibility as well. So kind of we have, for example, like a manual, for example, with the sales team, they have a sales process. They have the touch points they have to do. So it's more about trying to give them the freedom, and it's managing the outcome. So I don't necessarily have to manage the activity, I manage the outcome. So as long as my team has the flexibility and they know it's very much a outcome-driven culture that we have, so they have flexibility on how they manage their time and how they manage their clients as well. So it's more about empowering them to make decisions rather than making the decisions for them.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a big kind of BFO for me. So instead of managing that activity, you're managing that outcome. And then what's the benefit that comes from that?
So the benefit comes from that is, like, for me as a business owner, I'm not focusing on what they are doing. I mean, they all have the time allocated, they have their KPIs. So it gives me time to, for example, work on the business, like be it, what's the new marketing strategy, what's the new sales, is it a new product we're going to bring into the business, arranging workshops, networking with stakeholders. So it frees my time, and I know that the team are still managing the activities that's going to get me the results to grow our business.
What's the best piece of business advice that you've ever received?
Be consistent in everything you do. Make it a habit. And no matter how difficult things are, how challenging it is, just be consistent.
Hats off to you for committing to your learning by listening to this podcast. And if you'd like some help implementing some of these strategies, then click the link in the description to find your local action coach. They can help you put these strategies into action and take your business and your life to the next level. In the meantime, like and subscribe so that you're the first to get our next episode. We'll see you soon.